Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life, and I have a network update for you guys from Verizon. They've done some lab testing, and it's very interesting. So, before I go into the video, I just want to let you guys know lab testing versus real world is always going to be different. So, what you see here in this article is likely not going to be 100% accurate versus what we're going to see real world. So just keep that in mind. It was the same with the millimeter wave testing. We saw it go 3,000-4,000 feet and even further in with the lab testing. In real world, that's not the case. The range is a lot less. So keep that in mind. Just a disclaimer: in lab testing versus real world, there is a difference. So just keep that in mind. I wanted to just say that briefly before I start the video. So just to read the title, Verizon hits 4.3 gigabytes per second in C-band millimeter wave trial. So what's happening here is what I'm seeing in my market. So I'm not saying that I'm seeing C-band already on the macro, but I'm seeing a setup that they're speaking of in this article. So I'll briefly explain this to you guys. So there's a Verizon macro setup, and then well within range of the macro is a millimeter wave setup. In this article, they call them street macros. Some people call them street macros. Some people call them millimeter wave nodes. Some call them millimeter wave small cells. But essentially, the small cell millimeter wave, as they call it, is within range of the macro. So what's happening here is, as they add C-band onto the macro and millimeter wave is within range of the macro, they're going to start aggregating millimeter wave and C-band to achieve these speeds that you see here. Again, real world versus lab testing is going to be different. So 1 millimeter wave range is limited, so millimeter wave will cut out, the aggregation part will cut out way before C-band does. So you will maintain C-band, but there likely will be a drop off in speed. So just keep that in mind as you check out this article. I'll leave that in the description down below as you read the article, and you may see some fascinating numbers and fantastic results. Just keep in mind, millimeter wave is going to cut out a lot sooner than C-band. C-band has much further reach than millimeter wave. So there could be a drop off in speed, likely for the average consumer, not noticeable. C-band is still going to maintain massive amounts of capacity. Now, within the area where that street macro, millimeter wave, and the C-band macro are nearby, the capacity there is going to be massive capacity. And why does that play a big factor? I'm going to go on a limb and make a prediction. So what carriers have ran an analysis on in analytics is that the amount of capacity that's now going into the market space, and that includes millimeter wave, is far, for now, we don't have any newer 5G applications, but with the current trajectory on applications that are out in the market space, Snapchat, streaming, 4K 1080p, there is an excess of too much capacity in the networks. T-Mobile has ran the analysis, Verizon and AT&T. Over the mobile network with the additional spectrum, and then Verizon has CBRS as well that can be aggregated in the future. There's an massive amounts of capacity that they're anticipating the mobile user won't be able to fully utilize as they cover larger square miles of devices, not necessarily range, but devices of people that can latch onto a sector. The sector likely will never tap out. So that's why fixed wireless assets are so big for these carriers, because they need to fill the capacity. Even with the MVNO agreements and deals, the capacity likely still won't be reached. So in fact, Verizon doing this strategy, if you're in a house that's nearby this type of setup and you put the suction cup on the window and you pick up the millimeter wave and then aggregate that with C-band, you're going to have an awesome experience on from that capacity, especially as they attach that network slicing and they build a great core. You're going to have a fiber-like experience, is what I'm predicting. Again, fiber is still going to be able to push far more throughput because they can go up to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 gigs on straight raw throughput. But if you're at home with this aggregation combo and you can pull anywhere from 600 to a gig, I mean, and at a latency of like 6, 7 from what I've seen some people do speed testing on the home internet, you're still going to have a great experience. You know, the experience part is not going to differ. Fiber is going to stream that same 4K video as the Verizon home internet connection on the C-band and millimeter wave combo. But it's just the amount of capacity that's being put into that area, to that footprint radius for those homes, is going to be massive. They're going to be able to pull a good amount of customers into that part of the business, the fixed wireless assets, and it's going to be a great experience. So that's what I think they're looking to achieve. They want to make it a flawless experience to where you put it in your home, you attach it to all your equipment, your phones, your tablets, and boom, you just keep going as it was with your previous carrier potentially. Whereas with T-Mobile, we had glitches, we had routers fail, we needed software updates to stabilize the connection. So that's something that you want to have ready up front. You don't want to go from beta pilot to commercial launch and technically still be in a beta pilot stage. So that's not something that you want to do. And Verizon is starting the preparing with the network building enough capacity, and then they bring it to the consumer base, and it's set to be a great experience. So again, this is going to be great for wireless. Again, like I said, there's going to be access capacity on the network that a mobile user is likely not going to be able to fill unless there's some crazy applications and 8K streaming starts becoming mainstream. Then I can see that capacity taking a hit. But for now, it's going to be pretty much empty networks. It's going to feel like an empty network by the amount of peak speeds that we're going to start seeing on this type of setup from Verizon. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I just wanted to give you guys my brief take on this, kind of trying to make a prediction that fixed wireless plays a big part in these type of setups, just releasing all that capacity on there so they can fill it with, you know, people around the neighborhoods, and then the people that are further away from that millimeter wave node, they can still experience that C-band. So there's not such a huge drop off in speed. But the people that live closer to that type of setup that can aggregate millimeter wave and C-band, it's going to be a massive, massive advantage, and the experience is going to be flawless. So if you have been on the channel or you are new to the channel and you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when the content does go live. Make sure to follow the social media outlets for more updates and interactions. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.